Hi and welcome back to Love English. I'm Leila.
And I'm Sabrah.
And today we've got a really special lesson for you, but one that you are going to need to concentrate on. You may even want to get
A pen
and
some paper
to take notes, of course. So this lesson is about all the grammar tenses.
All of them.
How many?
12.
12.
All of them, guys. Wow.
We're going to help you understand the structure and also how to use them. Understand the reasons why and the context that we use these tenses in.
That's right, guys. So are you ready for all the grammar tenses? Get ready. So guys, the best way to actually learn and improve your grammar and your English on the whole is with a teacher.
And a native one,
Yes.
if possible.
So we work with a great company called italki, and they are a language learning platform. You can learn lots of languages with them, Korean, Japanese, all sorts, but we assume you're watching to learn English. Now, some of the benefits are that it's convenient because you can do it from home and the teacher will fit around your schedule, which is great. What are the other benefits, Leila?
It's also affordable according to your budget.
Yeah, which is amazing. Now we have something exciting to tell you guys. We actually have a little discount for you if you click this link.
go.italki.com/loveenglish.
That's right, guys. So if you click that link, you get $10 off your lesson. So $10 of free italki credits with your first lesson purchase. Why not get a real teacher, a native speaker, and try italki? Learn from home at your own convenience and pay a very affordable price. Try our link, guys, here and down in the description box. Click that link and get your $10 of free italki credits. Start learning with a real teacher today.
Absolutely. Right, guys, so today's lesson, grammar. The 12 tenses of the English language.
That's right, yes. Here we go. The first tense is, of course, the present simple. Now, this tense is quite easy. We use it for facts, we use it for routines, we use it for when things are scheduled, so when things usually happen, and when things are general, we can also use the present simple. Now, the present simple, of course, you need to know the form of the verb.
Okay, so the present simple is simply the verb in the present form. That means, of course, that you have got the third form. So she goes, I go. Remember that. That's probably the number one
Drives me crazy
mistake.
when I hear people saying she go. No!
Exactly. Or she wants, okay?
Yeah.
So it's not she want. That is the number one mistake.
Yeah, don't forget that sexy S. I always call it to my
Sexy
students,
S.
a sexy S. Don't forget it. So a present simple sentence would be, I am Sabrah.
Oh, you are?
I am Groot. No, I'm Sabrah.
I am Groot. I am Groot.
Now, for other things, for example, you'll often see on schedules, the train leaves at 11 p.m. or the train leaves at 8 o'clock. The office opens at 10 a.m. Things like that. That's very common for the present simple. Now, Leila, I have a question for you in the present simple.
Okay.
Because we use it for routines, let's find out a little bit about Leila's routine, her exercise routine. How often do you go to the gym?
I don't often go to the gym.
No? Should we go now? What do you think? Should we try?
So that's a really good example of how you use the present simple when we're talking about routines, but how often we do things or not, as
Yes.
the case may be. So are we going to the gym or not, Sabrah?
Do we have to?
We don't have to.
No?
No, we can watch Netflix. Okay guys, number 2, the present continuous or present progressive. Same thing, slightly different terminology. Either way, we would use the verb to be, is, am, are, in the present form with the verb in the ing form. So swimming, going, running, playing, eating.
Dancing.
Yes. So we use the present continuous for actions that are happening in the moment. We are talking to you now.
Yes, that's right. We are teaching you.
Hopefully.
Yes.
We can also use it to talk about temporary periods of time. So this can be over a longer period of time. For example, I'm staying with a friend. This would imply that it's only for a short time.
That's right. Yes. I'm studying English for 3 weeks.
So the future continuous is also used for future plans, but of course they have to be fixed. That means that
You need your ticket, you need to book the restaurant, you need some kind of evidence that it's really going to happen. So you could say, I'm meeting a friend for lunch. We booked the restaurant. Yeah, we're definitely going. And unless something bad happens, we are definitely going to be there. So yeah.
And it's usually with another person or people. If it is a single plan where you haven't booked anything, then it would be going to.
That's right. I'm having a baby.
Oh,
Good
that's
example.
definitely a fixed plan, which is not.
I'm not, don't worry. So top tip, everyone, is that the present continuous cannot go with some verbs. These verbs are called state verbs. So for example, the verb to know, love, hate, believe. So you can't say, for example, I'm knowing her. You know her. It's a state. You can't say I'm knowing her. It's not something that exists in the moment. You either know her or you don't. You can't actually say, I'm loving you. You either love the person or you don't. It's simple. Now, McDonald's got it wrong. I'm loving it is not grammatically correct. Bad food, in my opinion, bad grammar.
It's worth noting as well that state verbs cannot be used in any continuous form. So whether it is present continuous, past continuous,
Present
future perfect continuous,
yeah.
whatever it is,
They cannot be used, yeah. Okay guys, next one. Oh my goodness, I know some of you will not like this, so be ready. It is the present perfect. But actually, when you learn the present perfect, it's actually quite simple. So the form is have or has, so have being the auxiliary verb. Of course, before that you would have your subject, so I, we, you, etc. And then the verb in the past participle, so the third form of the verb. If we look at a very simple example, guys, it would be I have been, okay? Remember that it changes to has in the he, she or it form. So one of the things we use the present perfect for is life experiences.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
For example, I've been to London many, many times. I've been to Australia. I haven't, but I would like to go. I have been to Ecuador in South America.
Have you?
Yes, I have. Let's think of some sports.
Sports will be a hard one. I've played nothing.
I've eaten shark. Actually, I haven't eaten shark, but I have eaten snake once. It was horrible.
You're a vegetarian.
I know. It was when I didn't know it was snake.
Did you think it was a vegetable?
When I was in South America, they told me it was chicken. There was nothing else, so I ended up eating it. But
Okay.
yes, I
Fair
am
enough.
vegetarian. So that's one of the reasons we use the present perfect, is when we're talking about things that we have done, our life experiences. There are, however, lots of other things that we use the present perfect for. For example,
we can use the present perfect when we are talking about an action that's recently happened. So I've had my breakfast. I've just eaten my
Still
breakfast.
full.
Yes.
yeah.
It's important to note that with the present perfect, you don't always need to give a time period. It's implied, especially like Sabrah said, when we're talking about life experiences. So I've been to Australia. I could have gone last week. I could have gone 10 years ago. We're not specifying when. When we do want to specify,
We changed the past simple. So we would say, oh, when did you do that? How long did you go for? So we actually changed the past simple when we want to talk about the time or the details.
so with the present perfect, we can use for and since, and many of you really struggle with this. So for is used.
So for is used for the actual period of time. So for example, you would say, I've been an English teacher for nearly 10 years. So there is the time period. So month, year, day, anything like that. You can say for one day, for example.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be for a long period of time, for an hour, but your focus is on the period. However, since is different.
Since is for a point in time. So I've been an English teacher since 2010, I think.
Yeah. I've known Leila since we were 19,
16?
16.
Yeah, yeah, college.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I thought it was, okay.
Okay, so present perfect continuous. Now, in the same way, it's always connected to the present moment. There's somehow a connection to now. But with the present perfect continuous, it is always recent, not in the same way that we can say, I've been to Australia and be talking about 10 years ago.
No.
The present perfect continuous is really recent. There is very often evidence because it is recent. So it's been raining.
Yeah.
Sabrah's been shopping. There's
I have,
always
actually.
evidence. There's always evidence. Credit card bills and shopping bags.
So Leila might say to me, oh, you look tired. How come you're tired? I've been shopping. I've been shopping since this morning. Hello. I've been shopping. So sometimes, guys, with the present perfect continuous, we focus on the action that is more temporary, that's not over such a longer period of time. So, for example, if I say I've lived in Bournemouth, this sounds like quite a permanent thing. I've lived in Bournemouth for 10 years. But if you say I've been living, it can sound more temporary, not necessarily as permanent. We'll often use the present perfect continuous for something we've been doing regularly up until the current point. For example, I've been going to the gym for 3 weeks now. I'm going every week, I'm doing it continually. I've been going to the gym. The focus is on the action and the fact that it's regular.
So the form of the present perfect is still, have and has, depending on whether it's third person, she, he or it. You need the verb been, so the past participle of be, and then you need your continuous verb, so a verb ing. So for example, I've been eating Nutella.
She really has, all the time. Okay, next one, guys, is the past simple. And actually, I think it is pretty simple. It is for events that are finished and there is no connection to now, and we put the time. We nearly always put the time that we did it. So for example, I ate breakfast this morning. I went to London last year. I kissed a boy last night. No, I'm only kidding.
I'm sure it was your boyfriend.
It was my boyfriend.
So it's really important to notice the difference between the past simple and the present perfect. Present perfect we use with unfinished periods of time. So I've done my homework today. Today is still continuing. I've seen my mother this week. Again, still continuing. But with the past simple, finished periods. So yesterday, last week, last year.
Morning, 10 years ago. We often use ago with the past simple.
Yeah.
Like I went there 6 years ago. I ate dinner 3 hours ago. I'm hungry again. So the form, guys. Now it depends on whether the verb is regular or irregular, tricky irregular verbs. If it's regular, it's nice and easy and you just put ed. However, the spelling can change, which is a little bit complicated and we can't go into that now.
Oh, and the pronunciation changes as well, but we do have lessons for that.
We do. However, if the verb is irregular, and we have a lesson on that as well, guys, how to learn irregular verbs, the form will absolutely change. And it can change a lot. If you think about the verb to be in the present simple, it would be am or are or is. But in the past simple, it's was, were. So it actually changes totally. For example, with go, it would change to
Went,
with buy,
bought,
teach,
taught.
all different, guys. Check out our video on that to help you learn those tricky irregular verbs.
So with the past continuous, this often needs to be used with the past simple to describe a background action or the fact that an action was interrupted by another. Some examples?
I was eating my breakfast when a fire started in the kitchen.
Oh, it's very dramatic. Were you cooking?
Yes.
There you go.
So it's normally when we are interrupted. I was doing this other thing and then another thing happened. And it's over and continuous period. I was doing this thing continually. I was walking down the street when I saw a pink elephant. I was washing my clothes when Leila called me. So we're doing the thing for a period and then something else happens, and the second action we use in the past simple.
The second action in the past simple can either just interrupt the action or it could potentially stop it altogether.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Obviously when I call you, stop everything to talk to me.
Yeah, of course, naturally, of course.
So the structure is nice and simple. It is simply the verb to be in the past, was or were. Remember your subjects though. I was, you were, they were, etc. And then the verb in the continuous form, going, playing, doing.
Yeah. So an advanced tip, guys, is that it's not only when an action interrupts the action, it can also be when you change something. So you were doing something for a period in the past and then you change. For example, I was teaching at that college and then I decided I wanted to go somewhere else, so then I moved to a different college. It can be that you change the action, but the focus is always that it was over a continuous period in the past and that action is finished now. No connection with the present at all.
Nice advanced tip there, I like that one. Right, now the next tense is probably one of the most difficult to actually put into action, to use, whether it's speaking or writing. I usually find that students overuse this tense when they don't really need it. It is a narrative tense, which means...
So it's used for stories and things like that, literature, articles, because it's about several actions happening in the past, and we want to know what happened in which order, so what happened first, basically. So that's the reason why we have this tense, guys, which is the
past perfect. So the structure of the past perfect is had, and this is nice because there's no third form.
No change.
No,
Yeah,
I had,
great.
she had, they had, it had.
The form is easy, actually.
It is,
the
that's
use.
the easiest thing.
Yeah.
And then we need the past participle, so regular or irregular verb. So had plus past participle. The use, it's basically used when you are referring to a past event, but you're referring to a past. So a time before the time you are talking about. Does that make sense? I think we need some examples.
Yeah, so it's two actions, guys, usually two, can even be three, and the one in the past perfect is the one that happened first. For example, when Sabrah arrived, I'd already eaten. So I arrived, that's the second action. The first action is that Leila had already eaten. So she ate and then I arrived. Okay, so we use the past perfect to show which happened first. Another example would be, I had worked there for 3 years before I left. So we often use the word before or and then and things like that to show the order of things.
Or already as well.
Already. Yeah, that's true.
I've already made her a cup of tea when she arrived.
So basically, if you want to use this tense, think, how many actions are there? If you want to show what happened first, you use the past perfect.
Now, the past perfect is a funny one because had, done, had been, it can be a bit of a mouthful, especially if you're using had.
Yeah.
Make sure that you contract this form, guys. It sounds much more natural. So she'd had
3 boyfriends before she found the love of her life. So there we go, guys. It would be she'd had, he'd had. We never really say she had. It just sounds too difficult. Yeah, I'm really upset. This new girl's arrived at work and, you know, everyone's been really praising her and saying that she's the best English teacher and, you know, she's getting all the work now and all the students love her. And I'm really jealous. I'd been doing a great job at work before she came along. So guys, let's look at the form of this tense, the past perfect continuous. It even sounds scary and long, doesn't it?
It does sound scary and long.
Past perfect continuous. It's actually not that bad. Once we have taught you, you will be able to understand it, we promise. So in that example I just said, I said that I'd been doing a great job at work before she came along. Okay, so I'd been doing, so this is what was happening before this other girl arrived at work and started making my students love her more than they loved me.
It's not me.
So I know it's not Leila. I promise it's not Leila. So I'd been doing. So it's the action that was happening continuously before another action happened. Normally the other action, just the same as the past perfect, the second action will be in the past simple.
So if you understand the present perfect continuous, then the past perfect continuous shouldn't be too difficult. Again, we need to have actions that are recently completed or in progress. We need to think about there being evidence as well. And again, a focus on the duration rather than the completion.
Yeah.
So enough about narrative tenses. Let's move on to the future tenses or future forms that we use in English. Number 1 is will, and don't you find that students always overuse this?
They do, yes. Will is really only for some specific reasons actually in the future. Like, for example, spontaneous decisions. If you're in a restaurant and you're looking at the menu and you're thinking, oh, what shall I have? And then you go, I'll have the salad or I'll have the burger. You've decided in the moment.
Veggie burger.
Yeah. I'll help you. Hang on, wait a second, I'll help you. If you see somebody struggling with their shopping, you say, oh wait, I'll help you.
This would be an offer as well. Sometimes it's like double.
But you decided it in the moment. So spontaneous decisions is one of the main uses of will. Another one, Leila?
Promises.
Yeah.
I'll love you.
Oh,
I'll love you forever.
Oh, it's a big promise.
So promises, we can use will, as well as threats. I'll tell your mum.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do this if you don't do this, for example.
That's a negotiation as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So will, the future simple, is used with will and the infinitive verb, done.
We can, of course, use it as well with predictions without evidence. So, for example, I think Leila will have 6 children. So it's predictions without evidence. There's no reason why I would say that.
Distant future as well, really distant.
For example, you might look out at the weather and you might think, I think it will rain later. I think it will rain. But you're not 100% sure, but you're guessing based on your understanding of life in general, perhaps, but you haven't got definite evidence. So next one, guys, the future continuous. A tense which is about what will be happening at a point in the future. So I'll be doing my homework in an hour. Actually, I should correct that and say my students will be doing their homework at the weekend. I hope they will.
I hope they will be.
Do you think your students will be?
No. To be honest. So we've got will plus the verb to be. That's the infinitive verb, so that's not going to change to is or are, anything else, will be, plus the continuous form, so verb ing. Nice and simple.
So guys, it's when we're talking about what we think will be happening at a point in the future. So Leila, what do you think you'll be doing this time next week?
This time next week, I'll probably be relaxing at home, I think.
Yeah, really relaxing?
We'll probably be editing again.
We'll probably be filming or editing. We're so dedicated to our channel.
We work weekends. Today's a Sunday.
Stay with us, guys. We are nearly finished. We've got 2 more to do. I'm desperate for a cup of tea.
Yeah, me too. So, in an hour's time, we'll have drunk our cup of tea.
That's true. We'll definitely have drunk our cup of tea in an hour's time. Yeah. We'll have finished in an hour.
Yes. Definitely.
Okay.
We'll have finished. So, the future perfect simple. Wow. It gets complicated. But if you understand the present perfect, then you should understand that the future perfect simple is referring to the completed task in the future. So something you think will have already finished or been done at some point in the future. So like we said, we'll have finished our work in an hour.
We'll have got 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year.
And that's a really good point. By this time next week, by this time next year, we often use this expression with the future perfect simple. There we go. Did it. Okay, the structure?
So it is will plus have plus the past participle.
No has.
Yes, doesn't change. I will have done. It will have finished. She will have completed. So often we'll contract as well, guys, because it's very long. You don't normally say she will have completed. It'll be she'll have completed.
Yes.
She'll have. So it's really a tense because it's long where we'll do a lot of contracting. She'll have completed.
Yeah.
She'll have completed her master's degree by this time next year. We often use the phrase by this time.
Yeah.
Or we give the time period just to let the person know when we expect the event to have finished. Last one. Oh my goodness. We hope you're not tired, but we hope we hope your grammar is improving, guys, after our amazing tour of English grammar.
Ultimate guide to English grammar, really is.
That's right. So, final tense is the future perfect continuous. Oh my goodness. I'll have been talking on this video for
30 minutes.
30
I'm not
minutes.
Sure how long this video is
by the time this is finished, we'll have been talking for 30 minutes. So very similar to the future perfect simple, only we focus more on the action of it and it having been recent, just like all the continuous perfect tenses.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'll have been doing this for X amount of time. By this time next year, I'll have been studying for 6 months. So we focus more on the action and the fact that it's recent.
Or maybe not even completed. You may be continuing with that action into the future as well.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. I'll have been talking for 30 minutes. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop.
She will in a minute, hold on. So the structure of the future perfect continuous is will, have, been, and the continuous form, verb ing.
Yes, I will have been studying, I will have been eating, I will have been doing, all of those things.
And don't forget your contractions, really important. Like Sabrah said earlier, when we have got these long tenses, we really need to contract them. So I'll have, not have, of, it kind of shortens when we speak. I'll have been doing, I'll have been going, I'll have been singing, I'll have been dancing. Wow.
So a nice real life example, guys, would be if you were talking to a friend in the workplace and talking about maybe getting a promotion, you could say something like, I think I should get it because by the end of the month, I'll have been teaching here for 6 years, something like that, or I'll have been working in this office for 7 years or 7 months. But you're kind of saying what you've been doing up until that point, focusing on the action. Yes, exactly, with the future as well. So it's kind of like something where we often want to emphasise what we will have been doing, the action that has been happening up until that point.
And usually it's been like a long time. Right, guys, we really hope that that lesson has helped you and you haven't fallen asleep, please. But don't forget to comment in the box below and make sure that you use some of these structures. Try the ones that you find most difficult, not the ones that you find easiest. It's all about practice making perfect. And
that's very true. And guys, if you do want to practice your grammar, we really recommend this book, Raymond Murphy. It's fantastic for learning grammar. And let's face it, grammar is the beginnings of learning a language. So it is really, really important to get it right.
And don't forget to tell us which grammar structures you would like to learn more about. We've only covered the use here. We haven't covered the question forms, the negatives, and any more complicated things because that was quite enough.
That was enough. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on
Twitter,
Facebook,
and Instagram.
Yep, that's right, guys. The links are all there.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.